I want to introduce the board right now because the board is who's been doing this. So Deanna, I'm going to go around the room this way. We have Deanna Sullivan, who is our treasurer. And Deanna is actually keeping us afloat with the money mindfulness. All right. And then we have Alana Hill. Alana, please stand up. Our past president, who all of this fell into place with COVID when Alana took over. So Alana has really been pushing it forward, guiding us not only through last year, but this year too. So thank you, Alana. And then we have Robin Roberts, who is our membership teacher. Yes, and she is the one who has such wonderful things that you're going to see in just 1 minute. And you're all going to want to join, just so you can see what Robin's going to bring you at the next meeting. All right, and in the back, we have Mike Lejeune. Mike Lejeune! And Mike is our VP of Programs. So every single thing that you have seen in the virtual world has been because of Mike's guidance and hands and connections. And also for now, bringing in our speakers who are live and in person. So thank you, Mike. All right, and also in the back, I want to introduce Asia. She is our sponsor. She's our videographer. All of the different videos that you see online on our website are because of Asia's skill as well as her editing. Not just in photography, not just in videography, but in the editing process. All right, so with that, who did I leave out?
Kelsey.
Oh, Kelsey, yes, that's why I didn't see her in the room. Kelsey, can you hear me? Kelsey, please come in here. Come on. We don't know what we would do without Kelsey. All right, at the count of 3, say we love you, Kelsey. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We love you, Kelsey! Kelsey is our glue. She truly is what keeps our chapter together. So truly we do love Kelsey. We don't know what we would do without her. All right, so with that, it's not just time to get started. It's time to renew and recharge. And can you tell I'm excited?
Yes.
Okay, good, because I am. I'm going to turn it over to Deanna because I could just stay up here and beam the whole time.
I just figured that out, Jill. All right, as Jill said, we're thrilled to have you guys today. Now, before we get to our keynote speaker, we have a new thing that we've been doing. It's called a member showcase, and it gives some of our members a chance to talk about what they're doing and let you get to know everybody a little bit better. My hero Zig Ziglar said, you gotta get rid of that stinking thinking. Do you need a checkup from the neck up? Well, that's exactly what our member showcase is gonna talk about. The mindset and making sure yours is in the right place. Let's give it up for Javon Wooden.
Thank you, Deanna. Thank you. Pleasure being here. Glad we're here in person. It's an honor and a privilege. And I always say that this was God's plan, right? I give all the glory to God because without God, I would have never made it to where you see me standing here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. When I was 17, I was faced 7 years in prison for an assault robbery charge. So I sat in a cell waiting for a system to decide my story. Now, I didn't care at that time. I had no sense of value. I had no sense of worth. See, I thought money was the only real reason why someone would be worth anything. But one day, I went down to the visitation room. My mom and my older sister were there. Now, as I walked to sit on that stainless steel stool, I looked around. I seen yellow walls, the lights were yellow, the tiles were off-white, and it was as if the decor was meant to take any hope of freedom you had within you out of you as you walked in.
Mom's gonna pick you up. She's picking you up. She gets off at 3.
And I sat down,
Right now. Are you okay?
and when I sat down
I'm not to speak right now.
to speak with my family, and I looked around in the room,
Speak for the next 2 hours.
and I seen every other black man sitting there talking to their family who may never see them outside of visitation rooms like the one we were in again. So when I turned back around to look at my family, I seen pain. A pain I had never seen on their faces, and we have been through some things. Right? We grew up poor. I grew up in a polygamous household, right? So that affected my sense of love. But through all of that, they were always happy. They were the only thing that kept me going. And here I was, causing them this pain. So after I spoke to them, I went up to that cell. And I prayed to God on my knees that he would give me another chance to be the servant that I was meant to be. The servant that he put me on this earth to be. And guess what he did? Gave me another chance. 2 weeks later, after that visit, I was out. I was able to finish high school. I was able to give a shot at college, right? I couldn't afford it, so I had to drop out. But that's okay. That's another story, right? So I ended up working 2 full-time jobs for 4 years as I tried to figure things out, just so I wouldn't go back to that life. Because now I knew I was worth something. Now I knew that there were people who were depending on me to be here. I knew there were people who depended on me to make a way. I was decided that I wasn't going to wait for opportunities. I was going to create opportunities. So at 22, joined the military. And the military opened up a whole new world for me, right? This was where I started finding myself. I started realizing that there's world outside of Rochester, New York, where I'm from, right? That's the small world that I stayed in. And that's what I thought was the picture of everything. That dilapidated housing, the poverty, right, the pain, right? When you looked into people's eyes, there was a numbness in Rochester. People didn't have a sense of purpose. You know, we all were going through the same things. But then, when I joined the military, it was a diverse thinking. People were from all different walks of life. And that just did something for me. That put some type of just purpose in my step. I started moving towards something. And I realized that that purpose was, as my boy Andre's book is called, my purpose was not for me. My purpose was to serve. I realized that the resources were not money. The resources that I had was my heart, my compassion, my spirit, my tenacity, and my love. Right? And in order to get that, I had to step out of my comfort zone. I had to start talking to people, start introducing myself to people, start joining organizations like NSA Houston, right? Because it's people like you all who are changing lives. And I decided I wanted to be a part of the movement. Because what you're doing, you may not know. You may not see it. Right? You may not know who you're impacting. They may not comment on your posts. They may not be right in front of you. But when they see you speak, when they see what you're saying, you're sharing your story. We are touching lives, and we are changing the trajectory. Because there are so many people, especially now in this pandemic, who felt like I did. Felt hopeless. Felt lost. Until they see someone like you, like me, telling them that there is hope and that they do have value, no matter how much money they have, no matter how many followers they have. None of that matters. None of that matters. The value comes from within. And I always say that you have to find reasons to be great instead of excuses to be mediocre. And I found my reasons. Fortunately, I was sitting in a jail cell at 17. But I found those reasons. And those reasons sat across from me at that point. But now, as I've moved forward in my life, I've identified other reasons. There's Robin, there's Andre, there's Deanna, there's Siobhan, there's all of you. And there's people I've never met. You all are my reasons. I want to leave this world better than it was when I came in. I want to establish a legacy of compassion. Because compassion breeds innovation and it breeds elevation. When we all serve from a place of compassion, when we all serve from a place of abundant mindset, everyone benefits. Everyone comes out better. So I'm gonna leave you with a challenge today. And that challenge is to show gratitude. Show gratitude to yourself for what you do. But also look to your left and your right. Show gratitude to the people next to you. Just take a moment. Show gratitude. Just take a moment. Yeah, give them a thumbs up. Give them a thumbs up. Show some love. I want to, fist bumps. That's what I'm talking about. Because you all are amazing. Amazing. Think about it. With your voice, you are creating an impact that is immeasurable. Immeasurable. Like, who would have thought that we could share our stories and we could change thousands of lives? I didn't think that when I was younger. Never thought about it. But now I see that. I think the first person I really heard speak was Zig Ziglar, all right? Speaking of Zig Ziglar. I heard him say some quotes. And what that did for me was it changed how I looked at myself, that self-perception. It made me realize that what I'm capable of comes from here. It had nothing to do with this physical being. Nothing to do with it. Starts here. So that's why I focus on mindset today. We're living not loathe. I focus on mindset and perception. That's my specialty. Because I realize that if you never love yourself, if you never value yourself, then it does not matter what material possessions you have. It does not matter what you accomplish, because you can never see yourself as being a success. You're always going to chase something that is impossible because you're setting yourself up for that. So what I've decided to do in my company is I've decided to give people a strong foundation. I focus on helping high achievers design a life they don't need a vacation from. Now, what does that mean? That means that they see themselves in a positive way. They're no longer doing that negative self-talk. They're no longer saying, man, I hate that I don't have this. They're no longer saying, I'm missing this. They're focusing on what they do have. And then they're also saying, how can I obtain? How can I create this? Right? It's all about how you create and how you word your sentences. It's all about how you speak to yourself. I'm telling you, mindset is everything. We hear it all the time. Mindset is everything. When I was sitting in the cell when I was young, I had that scarcity mindset. I thought that success was only limited to a certain amount of people. I thought that it wasn't going to reach me. I couldn't be successful because of where I came from, because of what I looked like. That's a myth. That's a myth. Success is an infinite resource. We can all have it. And how do we get it? We help each other. We collaborate. We come together like we are here today. And we help each other elevate. Because when we come together, there's strength in numbers. Strength in numbers. Every single person in here has helped me. You don't even know. You helped me get to where I'm trying to go. Alana, I'm sorry. When I first joined, she took a call from me. She sat there and she told me some things. She gave me insight. Robin, she also took a call from me, and she told me, even though she had her own stuff going on, she took time, made time out for me to make sure that I was comfortable joining NSA, right? Rob, Dr. Rob, who's not here, he helped me write my first speech. I would have not had the ability to share my story in a powerful way, in a way I did if it wasn't for him. So salute to Rob. I know he's not here today, but he's here with me right now, right? But I just want to share that, right? We got to come together and we got to be willing to look to our left and our right and be vulnerable. Let's lean on each other. Let's elevate each other, all right? We're going to grow together.
Thank you so much. You can see why you're a mindset coach. Javon is a new member of the Houston NSA chapter, and Robin Roberts is going to give you a surprise.
Oh.
Not that you haven't had one already.
I've had a ton of
Showcase,
surprises.
spotlight.
Thank you so much.
So for our new members, we're doing a new
a new package we're going to show everybody so that they all want to join. So what we have here is your own portfolio, and it's personalized. It's got your name on it. So you will never leave it somewhere like here, and someone else will go, "Oh, dude, I know."
That's pretty
Never happened. And this is actually a whiteboard for your virtual meetings, but you'll always remember where you got it from. So there you go. And as you sit on anything in a virtual meeting, here's your coaster that says NSA Houston. So you can remember, we all love you and we're with you.
Yes, I'll use this at Rustic. There you go.
There you go. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so I hope that did motivate everybody to sign up to be a member. One thing I forgot before we even started, I think you guys know this, if you would be so kind as to put your cell phones on stun or vibrate for us. Thank you. On stun or vibrate. It is Texas, right? It is Texas. Okay, so Zig, my hero, also said, you can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get what they want. Yes. How do you do that? You have to get to know them.
Let me see. I
And
think
you
it's
also
good.
heard the adage which says,
No, yeah,
people
yeah.
do business with people they know and people they trust. How do they get to know you? Through connections. Through connections. How do you find out about them? Through connections. That's what we're doing today, connections. And we are so blessed to have the king of connections speaking to us today. I am so excited about our next speaker. He's just an amazing man. And I was telling Mike and the rest of the board how excited I was about having him. And Mike said, all right, then Deanna, you get to introduce him. And I said, yay! So 3 years ago, my girlfriend, Michelle Prince, called and she said, Deanna, I'm going to be in Houston for a conference and do you want to come with me? And I said, okay, well, who's speaking? And she told me, and I said, never heard of him. You know, I thought I'd heard of everybody. That was wonderful, right? Well, I was wrong. I was dead wrong. This man rocked the place for 2 days. He had everybody hopping and clapping and cheering. We did everything you're supposed to do to be successful in any type of conference, any type of training. He is indeed an expert at entertaining, at educating, at coaching. This is the book the notebook that I had, completely filled it. It was actually 2/15 of 2019. So I brought it to show you, and I forgot the one thing I wanted to share with you, which I have used for the past 3 years. He also had connection cards, and he also had little notes, and one of the cards is still on my refrigerator today, and it says, your actions make your words either meaningful or meaningless. Your actions. Well, I teach ethics and fraud, and I'm like, that is so true, I love that. So this is just a little tidbit of the wonderful words of wisdom we are going to hear over the next 2 hours. Now don't fret, we're going to take a break in between. But over the next 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our keynote speaker, Mr. Jonathan Springle.
All right, NSA Houston, come on, come on, come on, come on. Say, clap your hands, everybody. Everybody, clap your hands. Good. Say, clap your hands, everybody. Everybody, clap your hands. Everybody say, hola, hola, hey. Come on, come on. Say, hola, hola, hey. Come on, come on. Say, woo-wee. Good, good. Say, woo-wee. Throw this. Now throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you're ready to have some fun today, NSA Houston say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on, let's put some energy in the room. Everybody say, if it is going to be. If it is going to be. Come on, say, if it is going to be. If it is going to be. Then it's up to me. Then it's up to me. So I choose to see. Only the possibilities. Only the possibilities. Say, I control what I think. Right now, that's important, isn't it? Say, I control what I think. And I control how I feel. Everybody say, I know I'm great. Just because it feels good. Say it one more time. Say, I know I'm great. And that's for real. Every day, I will be the best me. Come on, the best me. Speak to your future. Say, the best me that I can possibly be. Now look at your neighbor right in the face and say, neighbor. Oh, neighbor. Look here. You need to know something. Times change. Seasons change. And you better believe people change. But one thing will never change. And that is that I will always look better than you. Give yourself a big round of applause, y'all. All right, if you're ready to have a good time, somebody say yeah. Ready to have some fun, somebody say fun. And listen, I was raised by some very good people. They said, John, anytime anybody anywhere does anything good, you need to make sure that you tell them what? Thank you. You know, just ungrateful back there. Anytime anybody anywhere does anything good for us, need to make sure that we tell them thank you. So before I even open my mouth to share this little brief message that I have for you this afternoon, I want to make sure that I say thank you to those who are responsible for me being here. I don't even want to start naming all of the names because everyone in here is so special. Thank you. Thank you, though, for mentioning me. Thank you for bringing me up. Thank you for the great pre-call, Mike. Thank you to our current, past, future president, all y'all. Thank you so much. We're going to have a really great time. Here's what I will say. They only gave me 2 hours, and some people say, oh, that's a long time. When you see how I teach, you're going to start trying to figure out how we can skip breaks or how we can get more stuff in. So I'm going to put it this way. I'm here to serve. I love your shirt. I'm here to serve. I'm a servant. So I'm just going to keep teaching. And so if you all need to step out, if you get tired of learning, if you want to go have a whole Zoom call out there, that's fine. That's your business. But I'm here to pour out everything that I can. I'm really glad that we have a very intimate meeting, more intimate than normal for this chapter. Or maybe this is the new normal, the next normal. We'll see. I don't know. But what I do know is that you're here today. And you're here for a reason. And one of the things that all of you, either aspiring speakers, great job, by the way, sir. All of you, whether you're aspiring or whether you are in business now, whether maybe you're booked more than anybody else in the room, I want you to remember this. Speak to the seats that are filled, not the seats that are empty. Yeah. I learned that very early in my career, that when nobody knows you, nobody shows up, right? That's just, you're in that part of your career. When nobody knows you, you're not a name, nobody cares about you being there. I remember I had one talk that had 4 people in the audience, and 2 of them were my family members. But from that talk, one person happened to have been, lo and behold, the president of the Florida Association of Realtors. Speak to the seats that are occupied, not the seats that are empty. Never apologize for any empty seats. Never apologize for it not being bigger, because what are you saying? I'm sorry that more of you didn't show up. What are you saying? You're not enough for me. So instead, I want you to feel like you are enough. I want you to know that everyone who chose to show up, and I'm sure there were many more who would have liked to have shown up, but they didn't make it. For those of you who are on Zoom, hey, y'all, hey, how are you? I want you to know I see you too. But for those of you who showed up today, it's for a reason. And very soon you will see why. So I have a question for you. Why do people trust you? By the way, this is the interactive part.
Because I do what I say and I say what I do.
Okay, so authenticity, you do what you say. Okay. What else?
Communicate.
Because you communicate?
Communicate openly.
Okay. I think there's even a whiteboard over here. I think I can use this. Okay. Awesome. Because you do what you say. Do what I say. Consistency. Okay. I'm going to bring it over here. Okay. And he said because you communicate. Okay, what else?
I've got their back.
Got their back. That's why people trust you, because you've got their back with that big, deep voice, too. I feel like my back is gotten. Yes.
I care.
Let me tell you, this is the first time I've seen Ed since 2001. I was at my first NSA convention in Orlando, Florida. And let me tell you, maybe you all aren't like me, but I remember there's a guy named Allen Iverson who was a basketball player. He's known as being one of the greatest point guards, which is the little guy who brings the ball down the court. He's known as being one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But the first time he ever played against Michael Jordan had what they call a welcome to the NBA moment, where Michael Jordan just made him feel like he had never picked up a basketball in his life. And he said, if that's what it takes for me to be in the NBA, I might as well give up now. Well, when I saw Ed Robinson, I had a welcome to NSA moment. I said, oh my goodness, if that's what it takes to be a speaker, I've got a long way to go. And so I'm really glad that you're here. It's really an honor to be here talking with you in the audience. So thank you. I'm glad that you're here. Tell me more. Tell me more. Because you're responsible. I care. Okay. Okay, what else? By the way, some of you can tell, I speak much better than I write. Like, I know I said that, but I don't know if that was even reflected in what was written. Okay, so the more I text, the worse my handwriting becomes. Okay, so because I do what I say, I'm consistent, I communicate, I've got their back, responsible, I care, and I listen. I have a question for you, Chris. Isn't this what we're supposed to do? I mean, if I go, whoa, they're responsible. That's my guy right there. Oh, wait, she actually cares. She listened to me. All of these things oftentimes reflect what we believe are our best qualities. But the truth is, when it comes down to why people trust us, far too often we can't articulate the reasons in the words that our customers and clients are using. And so, why is that a challenge? Why is that a problem? Because, as Deanna just said, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So if I say, why do people trust you? I'm asking in another language, why do people hire you? Why do people pay you? Why do people refer you? Why do people talk about you? Why do they buy your stuff? Why do they celebrate you and make you the people's champ? Why do they make you the consultant or the coach for their organization? Why do they tell others? Why? And so this is the beauty of this. One thing I know about NSA is that this is a very high integrity organization. Most of us, if we can be very honest, our biggest thrill doesn't always come from whoosh, the moment we get to tear open that check. I mean, that moment is nice too. Especially when you start making those bigger checks. But the real thrill comes at the end of the talk when someone says, you really helped me. That moment is almost worth more than I have a big wall at my house, in my office. It's just I call it the I love you wall, of people who have written thank you notes after. And I keep them, all of them, over 20 years now worth of love notes and birthday cards and all of those things. I keep them because to me, I don't know what I did with all the money I've made, every single dollar, but I do know what really meant a lot to me. And sometimes I go back and I read those. And you prefer Michael or Mike?
Either one, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. So, Michael, I sound like your dad or something. So, Mike.
He's actually
So, Mike, I go back and I read those. And I start looking at some of those common words. And I pay attention to what they say. Here's why. Many years ago, the St. Louis opera, they were the subject of national attention. This was a time of economic downturn. So what happens when we contract? We don't usually put money in places that are considered discretionary. So things like the arts and entertainment, they were all folding. New York, LA, everywhere, they were all struggling. But for some reason, the St. Louis Opera was booming. And so they had a summit where they invited all of the heads of the opera houses from all over the United States to figure out, what are you doing that's allowing you to be so successful in a time where everyone else is folding? And here's the one thing they figured out. The St. Louis Opera was successful because that was the one opera who, by policy, only did operas that sang in the language of their listeners. So NSA Houston, we definitely speak a language. This is a good language. We're doing great things. And I believe that we can be sincere, yet sincerely wrong when it comes to why people trust us. But today, I'm here to fix that. That's why I'm here. If you could sing in the language of your listeners, they'll listen to you a lot more. When you sing in the language of your listeners, guess what? They'll also forward you on to other people. When you sing in the language of your listeners, your social media begins to blow up. If you sing with the language of your listeners, you're no longer having to go out and hunt and pursue. You're now attracting and closing more deals. When you sing in the language of your listeners, you understand a few things about business and how it looks when things truly change. You understand why they say the more you connect, the more you collect. The more you connect, the more you collect. Now, what does that mean? What is collecting? That sounds like a really nice thing to say. But what does collecting mean practically to us as speakers, coaches, authors, consultants, and all of that? Collecting means charging higher fees. Somebody say, mm-hmm. Collecting means being booked solid. So everybody say, mm-hmm. If that's you, say, mm-hmm. Collecting means better relationships with clients and their employees. Everybody say, mm-hmm. Collecting means faster closings. Everybody say, mm-hmm. Collecting means awards for being the #1 speaker and consultant. Everybody say, mm-hmm. Everybody say, it means working with marquee clients. If you want that to be you, say, mm-hmm. Now, here's what we know. There's a lot of people in this room who are doing great things. I promise you, sir. Now, I happen to be a fan of people who are really successful. You may like this guy, you may not. That's okay. You can't knock his success. Kanye West, they just did a documentary on him on Netflix. It's called Genius, Jenyus. You may or may not be a hip hop fan. You may or may not like some of the subject matter, and I get it, I understand. However, they had a moment in the documentary in which they showed how before he had a record deal, he walked into Island Def Jam Records trying to get a deal and got turned down with the song that eventually went double platinum. And so one of the things that I have learned how to do as a coach, not just a speaker, but actually as a coach, is learning how to see talent where it is. And so this same song here that's unsigned, that same raw talent right now, with the right little something, if you learn how to connect, this will be you, sir. And you, and you, and you, and you. Let me tell you something. Let me be honest with you. So this is my 22nd year at this. I was brand new. I was just a new pup in the business when I met Mr. Ed Robinson. If I can be very honest with you, some of you might look at me or my career and say, well, he has something that I don't, or he can do something, or because of some of the things I've done, or whatever. I want you to know this. Now, today, this year, I charge literally 10 times more than I used to when I met Mr. Ed Robinson in the beginning. But if I can be honest with you, Benny, I'm not 10 times better. If I can be honest, some of the stuff I say is exactly the same. They just pay me more to say it.
Amen to that.
So when I'm talking about the more you connect, the more you collect, a lot of you mistakenly look at someone like Ed, or you look at someone like Robin, or you look at someone like Disha, whom I hope you get to hear from even more. You look and say, they've got something I don't. And I need to be something more. I need to get something more in order to have what, I need to be more educated. I need to be more polished. No. The only thing you need to be more of is clear. You just need to be more clear about a couple of things, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's go into it. First off, I want you all to be in my world. I want you to get some of my tips. Some people say put your phones away. I say pull your phones out. Here's my personal text, 713-366-4483. I want you to get some tips, and I want you to see how I use it. Use my strategy. Use my strategy for engaging with people, okay? And I never, ever, ever send out a bunch of spam or anything like that. But if you would just send out, send me a text, I will get you hooked up, okay? So I'll let you all go with that. First off, all the things that you see, I want you to know that it didn't start this way. If you look at the beautiful lady on the left, her name is Shirley, and that's my mom. My handsome gentleman on the right, his name is Ernie, and that's my dad. I was only 2 years old, but me and my dad already have matching afros. Now, I love this picture because it was the first, the last, and the only picture that my family and I have together. Because my parents divorced when I was only 4 years old. And I ended up living with my mom and my two sisters in a one-bedroom apartment in South Central Los Angeles. And if you don't know about South Central LA, that's where the cost of living is going up and the chance of living is going down. Not the place you want your kids to grow up. And so my father saw this and he took me with him, and we ended up becoming best friends. And so when I look at movies like Pursuit of Happiness, and I look at movies like King Richard, that inspires me. I now have an 11-year-old son, and these movies inspire me, and my father's legacy inspires me to be a better father every single day. Some of you even heard me talking to my son on overhead. Hey, I'm about to speak. But these are the things that inspire me every single day. You know, I love the picture, but I also love what it represented. My mom, she was a teacher at the top of her career. Matter of fact, she wasn't a teacher, she was an educator. You know, I believe teachers are, that's a position. An educator is a disposition. It's something that you do, not, it's something that is just a way of life. So my mom was an educator, and at the height of her career, she told me, about $17,500. My father was an entrepreneur. As you could see, he has on the three-piece suit, which is why I wear suits today. Because every time I put on a suit, I feel more connected to him. He passed away when I was young. But this is my way of being just like my daddy. My father and my mother, they both walked different paths in life, but they brought the same lesson home. They taught me that winning with people is winning in life. That for everything you want in life, there's a relationship that can get you there faster. So no matter how high I climb, no matter what I do with my life or my career, I'm always trying to figure out what I can do to bring other people up. So wherever I eat lunch, you get to eat dinner. Let's go. So this is the way that things worked for me. So the moment I quit my job, this is way back in the day, I had a job as a computer salesman at Dell Computer Corporation. I quit my job and I went out and decided I wanted to be a motivational speaker. No one taught me, boy, comb your hair first. And so I went out and I decided I wanted to change the world. And I was doing okay. Things were all right. And I remember coming home to something like this. Maybe some of you know this in your career, where you were what they call a public success and a private mess. See, I lived off of Harwin. See, some of you, since we're in Houston, I can tell you about this. Somebody said, oh, Harwin. Okay. Yeah, I lived off of Harwin. That wasn't a bed. That was a futon that I had since I got out of college. That's not a nightstand. That's the bed, the box that I used to move into the place. And I kept my Bible near it, and then I kept a big old jar of pennies just in case this whole speaking thing didn't work out very well. This is what I came home to. But when I would go out and speak, I'd make something like $385 in product sales. And I remember going, wait a minute, if I could just do this 100 more times a year, I could be rich, right? I had those kind of dreams. Anybody ever had those dreams before? If I could just do this, wait, oh my God, I'm there, right? And so it was okay, but I knew that there was more. Anybody else ever known that there was more? Anybody else? Okay, let me see. Raise your hand high, please. Okay, this is what I'll say. There's two different types of people in this room. There's those who raise their hand, and there are liars. Okay, if you didn't think there was more, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here if you didn't think there was more. We know that. I was watching on the couch an interview, a guy named Stone Cold Steve Austin. They call him the Texas Rattlesnake. He wasn't a wrestler. He was a wrestler. Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's the baddest man. You could see he would crush beer cans on his head. He would flip off the audience, and he would curse and all this. And they were doing kind of a behind-the-scenes interview for Steve Austin. And they said, Mr. Austin, are you really like that all the time? And he said, no, of course not. And then he said something that changed my career and my life. I'll share it with you now. He said, anyone who is successful, you just take what you've got and you turn the volume up. Anyone who's successful in anything, whether it's entertainment, music, anything you do, you just take what you've got and you turn the volume up. Many of you have the capacity to be bigger. Bigger doesn't mean that you have to wear sunglasses through the Galleria. Bigger doesn't necessarily mean that you have your own private helicopter or that you have statues with you. If that's your path, then God bless you. Whatever your dream is becomes your reality. Bigger means that you no longer have to introduce yourself when you walk in the room. Bigger means that people say, I drove from Dallas to come hear you speak. Thank you. Many of you have the capacity to be bigger. You just haven't turned the volume up. You just have to turn the volume up on the right things. Now, before we had this conversation, if I said, hey, just turn the volume up, you say, I do what I say I do. I'm consistent. No. We're going to learn how to speak in their language. See, when I turned the volume up, this turned into this. I call this the palace because it's the first 3-story home I'd ever been in. And every time I walked in, I felt like a king. This turned into this, which eventually turned into this, which eventually turned into this. By this time, I felt like a drug dealer. People would call me and I'd say, hey, leave me alone. I'm counting my money, man. Which eventually turned into this. 6,000 people in the Anaheim Convention Center. That's $8,000 in $20 bills. I had $100 bill and the rest of them were $20 bills. And the reason why this was so important for me was because people waited for 2 hours for me to sign their book. That's the first time that had ever happened to me because I learned how to connect. I was able to collect. I was able to turn the volume up on the right things so I was able to attract the right platform and have the right message. And people said, I'm not going to the next room. I'm not going to the breakout session. I want to talk to you. Now, $8,000 may not be a lot of money to you, but for me, $8,000 was like, dang! Right? That was at the time something that would really change my life. So I have a question for you. What's standing between you and the cash? As you are today, on what is this, February something? What is February 18th? Wow, the 15th. That means that it was, what, 3 years ago almost? To the day almost. That's really incredible. What's standing between you and the cash?
Fear.
Okay.
Execution.
Execution, fear, what else?
Market.
Belief.
The market. Interesting. Tell me more.
We're coming out of a pandemic and spending's different for a lot of corporations.
Okay. So conditions are different. Interesting. Okay. You said belief. Tell me more, please.
Believe that you're worth it.
Okay. So believing that you're worth what that would look like. Okay. So let's just say that this is the bag. There's an expression that people are using now, securing the bag. Let's say this is the bag. So what's standing between you and the bag? Can you come up right quick, please? Can you come up right quick? Okay. Let's see. Robin, can you? Okay, yeah, just come on up. Okay, so let's say that Robin is us, where we are, and let's say I'm the bag. I'm the money. I am whatever you want out of your life. Name for me what you believe is literally standing between yourself and you achieving, you getting to this place that you want to be. What's keeping you up at night? Tell me. We said it's belief. Okay. Fear. Okay, so fear, belief. What else?
Processes.
Good. Okay, now we're talking. Good. You said
Scalability and process.
scalability and processes. Okay, so scalability and process. So if we got closer, if we went side to side, okay, so scalability and processes would be keeping Robin from being able to reach me. Okay? Okay, scalability or standing in the way. Okay, good. That's a good one. What else? You said market conditions. I heard that. And what else?
Somebody said fear. Oh, we already covered.
So we have fear and market conditions are standing between Robin and the bag. Okay? What else is true for you? Momentum. Interesting. Okay, tell me more.
So basically doing things continuously, even if it's small, not stopping in between and then only you achieve.
Okay, so doing the small things consistently. Good. What else? Excuses. So excuses, which are preventing the momentum, are keeping Robin from getting the bag.
My wife. I'm a basketball mom.
Interesting. Oh, I can tell. You definitely have some defense. I see that. Interesting. I believe that all of us, once again, can be sincere, yet sincerely wrong. Because it's not even your belief. It's not your fear. It's not your execution. It's not even scalability. I'll tell you, there's three things and three things only. This is what I learned when I was sitting in that seat, as I've grown from sitting in the seat to being the one teaching the class, from being the one who was getting paid whatever I was getting paid to now the one who's getting paid whatever I'm getting paid now. The one who was asking to be hired, now the one who is being requested. And I'm choosing dates and choosing whom I work with. I can tell you that what you think is between you and the bag isn't what's between you and the bag. But there are three things, and we're going to focus on those today. Thank you so much. Give them a big round of applause. When someone says, I'm hiring, when someone says to you, I'm hiring, this is what we look like to them. And so when you look at your connectometer, when you look at your connectometer, your ability to connect with the people who have that bag, to say the things that would make them say, you're my one. Yes. Where would you put yourself right now? Would you say you're kind of a red, yellow, or true green? Like, hey, I've got it. Just give me the mic and I can do it. Meaning on the phone, I can close business before they even say my name good. Where do you think we are right now? Where would you say that you are? How many of us would say we're kind of in the red area, reddish? We have some areas that we want to grow. Okay, raise them high. Come on, show me the whole armpit. There you go. Good, good, good. Okay, what about yellow? How many folks are in the yellow zone? I'm trying. Okay, I'm getting there. Okay, how many of us are true connectologists? I can get there. I can close them. Okay, so we're already there. So if you're already in the green, then what's standing between you and the bag? What's standing? So there's something. I'm not here to create problems, but I am here to show some things to you. I want to give you that beautiful mirror of truth and let you see what's happening in your business so that you can know better and ultimately do better. How many of you have ever heard that expression, don't judge a book by its cover? Well, I have a question. How many of you have ever bought a book because of its cover? Yeah, they say things like don't judge a book because of its cover, but that's actually the reason why we buy it. Listen, the worst word that you can be called in business is another. That's another speaker. That's another coach, another author, another consultant, another person in the room. The worst thing that you can ever be called is another. I told you there were 3 things, and I'm still getting there. I'm just getting you ready so that you can receive it. When you think about, I looked up the most booked speakers right now. And I know not everyone here is a speaker. Not everyone wants to be a full-time speaker. I get it. But I'm just using that as a reference because of the organization. When you look at the most booked speakers, anybody know who that is? Mel Robbins. People swear by Mel. What about her bigger brother, her older brother, Tony Robbins? Okay? There's also Ryan Serhant, who grew his social media following from nothing to millions and millions of people, Deidre, during the pandemic. He's a real estate guy. He was on $1 Million Listing New York, and now he has several best-selling books because of social media. Damon John from Shark Tank. Everybody knows her. This is Houston's own Brene Brown from the University of Houston. Now listen, let me ask you a question. I've never heard them speak, but we know that they're very busy, yes? Would you presume that they probably speak for very high fees? Yes. I'm going to ask you a real question, Andre. I've never heard you speak before, so I don't know. Only you know this. Do you think that what they're saying is that much different than what you're saying?
No.
I mean, they have literally more engagements than there are dates on the calendar. They're getting paid money that some of us could only imagine. Some people on that list are making millions and millions of dollars per month. But are they that different than you? I mean, they're good. They're really good. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. I cannot take a thing away from them. But are they that much better than you, Chris? So what's standing between you and the bag? I'm about to tell you. This is the way that you need to be thinking if you really want to make that jump this year. This is the way that you need to be thinking if you really want this year to be that year. Because yes, while it is true that in some markets it has slowed down, in other markets it has exploded. I have many a conversation with people who say this has been the best pandemic yet. It has exploded. I have had people reach out to me who I never would have been able to talk to because they're all at home now. I've been able to do things with groups on one coast, take a break, and then talk to another group. Our organization, or what we do, our market is bigger and better and more robust than ever before because behavior has changed, expectations have changed. And so you don't have to get on a plane and go talk to people all over the world and literally be there in front of their face. And so the opportunities abound bigger than ever before. Thaisha, for what you do, everybody needs what you teach now. Not some, everybody. When you look out and you see a big building like BHP or Old Republic Title and all those, you should not look at those as being buildings. You should look at those as being clients. Somebody in these buildings needs what you teach right now. Here's something else too I want you to know. Somebody in that building is hiring somebody who does what you do. So you can believe that it's your own fear. You can believe it's the market. You can believe that it's your own thing, your own whatever that's keeping you between you and the bag. But the truth is, here's the reason why these people are so successful. Here's the reason, the only reason why these people have everything that we want and we pay for their services and they don't know who we are. Here's the reason. Because these people are the best at what they do. No, they're the best at getting people to react to them. And so I said to you, why do people trust you? Why do people tune into you? Why do people pay attention? Why are they getting the money that we want? Why are they getting the opportunities? It's not because they're saying things that we're not saying, but it's because they are able to tap into their market, connect with their people, and get them to react. Muhammad Ali, the great boxer, said, listen, every single time I'm in the ring, half the people are there to watch me win. Half the people are there to watch me lose. But guess what? They're all there to watch me. Because he gets people to react to them. The worst thing that you can be is another. So you've got to turn the volume up. The worst thing you could be is another speaker, another diversity speaker, another consultant, another. So you've got to just find your thing and turn. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
So you've got to turn the volume up. Listen, it's happening when I'm telling you that the market is going crazy. Look at this. This guy, a 21-year-old, went from losing his job to now being worth $2 million. This influencer is now bringing in $5.5 million in 10 days because of crypto memes. This guy is making $1 million for sales of his selfie. Now listen, I'm not here to judge. I believe God made us all beautiful in our own special way. Now, if it's Benny, I understand, right? I understand. It should probably be $2 million for his selfies. I get it. But this brother, when you see him, you don't go, but somehow he made a way. Maybe, since we're going to use these terms, he believed when you didn't. Same amount of time, same opportunity, same internet. They believe, you didn't. So knowing who you are attracts people who want what you have to offer. You've got to know who you are, Mike, something special, that thing about you that you're going to turn the volume up on. Knowing who you are attracts people who want what you, not someone like you, not someone in your category, not someone who is also another African-American female, not someone who's another male, not someone else who's also from your, no, what you have to offer. That's the difference. People have brand incessance when it comes to Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, Damon John. They say, we'll wait, we'll put off our event. If you can't speak on the 12th, we'll put it off till the 15th. Because we want you. How many of you believe in affirmations and vision boards and all those? How about you include that in your affirmation or in your vision board? People want me and are willing to do whatever it takes to have me at their event. People want me. And they're willing to do whatever it takes to have me at their event. Asia, are you getting something good from this?
Oh, yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
So there's three things. I told you that there are only three. And these are the three right now. We're right now about to go from knee deep to waist deep right here. Three things that are keeping you from the bag. It's not your belief. It's not your thoughts. It's not consistency. It's not even scalability. These will create scalability. But this is what I discovered as I made my jump from barely being, can I be honest with you? The first time I spoke, they said, how much do you charge? And I looked over my shoulder thinking they were talking to somebody else, because there was no way in the world anybody was going to pay me anything for what I had to offer. And I took a deep breath and I said, $50? And they wrote me a check for $75. I thought I got over on them. I thought, oh my gosh, look at this. I went from making $50, actually before I even got paid at all, I spoke for a spaghetti dinner. I went from that to now being at a much more comfortable place. And so I get be much more selective. The talk didn't improve. Honestly, I still use some of the same stories. I mean, I've matured as a person. I've grown in my craft. I've done a lot of those things. But some of those same stories that I've used, some of the same points that I've made, same thing. The packaging is different. What is packaging? Packaging is aligning your life story. It's not just your website. It's aligning your life stories, experiences, and your mission to make a difference in the world. Now, there are parts of the brand that will have some overlap and they will make sense with the package. But when you're able to package all of this together, things begin to change. How many of you have ever been in a great position where you could say, I did something and I helped someone while I did it? How many of you could say that you helped somebody? Okay, great. How many of you know that you're really good at something? You're really good at something. I really want to make sure, especially as our friend from India, aspiring speaker, I really want you to get this, okay? I'm sure you're good at something. Can you share with me one thing that you believe you're good at?
I can tell you.
Well, I want to hear what she says. I want to hear. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a whole anything big. Just tell me if you're good at.
I think I'm really good at looking at the details and connecting the dots and letting people understand what I work at. So in my different domains. So when I'm talking about product, I think that's what I'm really good at. Connecting the dots and letting people understand how things work in their own language.
There we go. Good. I love it. I love it. Oh, Thisha was even happy. She's like, I like it. Okay. Really good at connecting the dots and telling them in their language. I love that. Packaging simply means that you have an alignment. Anybody else ever been in that position where you can say, you know what, I know I'm good at something, but I'm not always good at telling the world what I do? I'm not good at saying it in a way that other people say, oh, I've been looking for you. You're exactly what I need. Let me just give you a speaker-to-speaker, friend-to-friend moment. If you're not getting between 2 to 5 requests per week, then you're not packaged well. If somebody is hiring experts to do, Andre, what you do, but they're not putting you in that conversation, then there's something wrong with the packaging. And so packaging is really important. It's just bringing it all together. The second is your presentation. Your presentation is the second phase of the game. Your presentation is connecting with people and creating an unforgettable experience. Your presentation is not just what you say on stage, it's how you are presenting yourself and your message and its impact. I'll say it again. It's how you're presenting yourself and your message and its impact. There's something off with the presentation. That's what's in the way of the cash. There's something about what I'm saying that makes, sometimes you might even be over teaching. You might have people say, you know what, that was really good, we're done. Or when they hear you, if you're not getting 3 to 5 referrals afterwards, if you don't have people coming up to you saying, where can I buy your stuff? And they actually do it on the spot, something is wrong within your presentation. And so when we look at our connectometer, I hope that we're getting a more accurate color now to understand what's actually happening. I'm not talking about in 2019. I'm not talking about in 2018 or when, quote unquote, when the economy was good. I'm talking about right now. Barnes & Noble is still open. They're still selling books. Amazon is doing really good right now. Here's something that I had to be very honest with myself about. There's a lot of people who are buying right now. Even if they aren't buying from me. Somebody got hired for a 6-figure contract today, somewhere in this world. Somebody just sold 3 million copies of their book to be put all throughout the school district. Somebody got a contract to go back into that correctional system and go talk to the people who represented who they were 10, 20 years ago. Somebody got that contract today. People are buying even if they're not buying from you. So the third is your presence. Your presence is leveraging your authentic qualities to create magic moments online and in person. Do you have that presence? Steve Austin, the Texas Rattlesnake, is a persona that they created. He built that up so that he didn't look like another wrestler. Had he just been Steve Austin, he never would have made it. But as the Texas Rattlesnake, Jonathan Sprinkles is the connection coach. All of the things that I say and I do is because I've invested time in standing out and having a presence. Everybody say presence. Presence. Presence in every room. And so when you have a presence, people will say things to you, Chris. I'm saying this to you like it's going to happen in the future. I want you to know this. People will say to you one day, I know you're a somebody, but I don't know who you are. Who are you? I see how people respond to you. And guess what? This is what my pastor said to me one day. You may want to add this to your notes. He said, perception is greater than reality. Because if you can change their perception, they'll change your reality. So these are 3 areas we're going to roll up our sleeves and get busy on. These are the 4 most profitable words in business. You are my person. When they hear you, are they saying, you are my person? Let me tell you something. Up at the top, when you're getting 5 figures to speak or more, people invest time in this. People really invest time in making sure that every single aspect of what they do is on point. And so if you get it now, if you just understand now what it needs to look like, then you're going to be able to make that jump a whole lot faster. I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like. It's very simple. Even though it may feel like a lot right now, it's actually really simple. Jenna Dyson is from Houston. And ironically, we lived almost the same story. My father passed away when I was young. Her mother passed away almost at the same age. and we had very similar upbringings. She became a client of mine, and some of you will see yourself in Jenna. She had a really, Thisha, you remember Jenna. She had a really great book. Her mother struggled with some psychological issues, and it was incumbent upon her to be almost like the daughter and the mother, right? Because the mother was in a very challenging place. And so it became her passion to help other people who were also dealing with similar challenges. And so she went and got a PhD, and she really wanted to be a servant. And so she had this book that she wanted to write. When she came to me, she said, I want to write this book for people who are dealing with some of the things that I'm dealing with, the things that my mother dealt with. It's called From Stress to Success. And I said, that's not it. It was a great book, you know, it had a little rhyme in it, From Stress to Success. Hey, nice. And I said, you know, I just think that's not it. And I was actually at the Galleria. I was walking around by the Apple store over and over again during a coaching call. I said, I just don't think that's it. And I remember going around, and I said, tell me more about this book. Tell me more about what you do. What effect do you have on people? She said, well, you know, here's what I learned. Through my own journey, I discovered that when people commit to certain habits, you can literally rewire your brain. And so if you just commit to certain things, that you can be a new person, no matter what trauma you've experienced, no matter what kind of background you have, you can be a new person if you just commit to certain habits. I said, certain what? She said, habits. I said, okay, let me put that in my pocket. Okay, let me figure out what this might look like. So this is how I think always. It has to be what I call billboard ready. Okay, you may want to even add that to your notes. Your packaging needs to be billboard ready. Something that's big. From stress to success, that's not really something that you really want to put on your conference title. You know, hey, come to the 2023 NSA conference, From Stress to Success. No, probably not. I said, okay, we've got to be something bigger. What else is it? And we finally came up with it. I said, think your way up. Think your way up. That's it. We're going to think up. We're going to turn up. And so we started coming up with this whole up system. And so what we created was the 21 mental habits of high-performance people, borrowed from the 7 habits of high-performing people. Well, folks, just to let you know, the book did pretty well. She ended up selling 10,000 copies of that book. Amen. Big conferences. Big conferences. Everybody say, I'm next. I'm next. Come on, say, I'm next. I'm next. Big conferences said, we want copies because we want everybody to know how to think your way up. No matter what you're in right now, no matter how low you are, you can think your way up. Yes. Woo! People said, yes, I want this. That's a big billboard ready brand. That's a package that you need. It's not that you need to be so much. You just have to be more, what I say, clear. You just have to be more clear. You got to go up on the ladder. This for me was my dream come true. This is my own story about how it happened. A few years back, a lady named Paula Abdul saw me speak, and she said, you're my guy. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was trying to be tough, but my knees began to shake a little bit, because I remember when I was young, she would sing, I'm forever your girl. And I sang back, I'm forever your boy. I remember Paula, I swear to you, y'all, I'm not kidding. I thought I was going to marry her. I said, let me just turn 13 and get a full-time job. I promise you, I am going to marry you. Paula said, you're my guy. I said, wait a minute, hold on. You ever been here before? I know you're very successful. Have you ever been here before when the thing that you prayed for finally enters the room?
Wow.
I know y'all are better than me. Y'all are better people than me. Because the thing that I had prayed for entered the room, and I tried to convince the blessing that it wasn't mine. I tried to convince, no. Well, why would you want, because you know everybody in Hollywood, Simon Cowell and all, you know every director. She said, no, I've seen what you can do. And she said, I've got the songs, but you've got the stories. You're going to help get it all out of me. And that's what we did. We turned her stories into what became the Forever Paula Tour, and she ended up getting a Las Vegas residency, and now you see her back on TV again. She went from obscurity to now being able to say, Paula's back. I was so proud to be a part of that. Then it started to get really cool. I started working with other people that you might have known and some of their families. You all may not recognize this guy, right? Well, my packaging just changed. My packaging, this is a very interesting situation. All because of where I was, how I was dressed, and the thing that I told him that I do. He was like, oh my gosh, you're the one I need to talk to. You may not know this guy by what he looks like now, but maybe you would have known him back then. Yeah. That's AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys. See, now that things are different now, the packaging changes, the presentation changes, all of it changes. And now the level of people that you attract begins to change. When I talked to him and told him about some of the things that I do, the very same things that I'm talking with you right now, he said, this is genius. When you connect with people, they stop shopping. I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'm going to give you 3 quick case studies, and then we'll get out of here. My first one is Rich Robledo. Rich is a luxury real estate broker in Las Vegas. Well, the worst thing that anyone could call you is what? Another. Right? Last thing you want to look like is another consultant. The last thing you want to look like is another coach. The last thing you want to look like is another realtor, especially in a real estate market. So with Rich, he's got these great pictures, but we needed to really up the package. We needed to give him more presence so that he could begin to attract more people instead of him having to go out and do like most of realtors do, start passing out business cards like they're Frisbees. Here, take one, take one, take one, take one. So with Rich, I created this logo for him. And so it was really cool. It was Las Vegas, so we had to make it kind of sexy, right? We made the R very long, and we used a certain font. I really put a lot of time into this. And then we made his logo into golf shirts. Why? Because he goes out and golfs with his clients. You see? And so while everybody else is wearing, I don't know, Ralph Lauren or Ping or Titleist, he now has his own golf. And so what do people say? I don't know who you are, but I know you're a somebody. What do you do? Yes, sir. You see, if I could be honest with you, I'm an introvert. You see me in my most extroverted phase right now, but I am a hardcore introvert. And I remember back in the day when there would be school dances or somebody had a dance over when the parents were out of town or something. You know, I used to hate that moment when I saw a pretty girl, the music was going. I hated having to go over and ask the pretty girl, do you want to dance? Because she could either say yeah, or more often than not, she would say no. And then I have to go back and make up a story to my book. I didn't even want to dance with her anyway. You know, once I saw her up close, I mean, you know, whatever. I didn't even really want to dance with her. I was lying every time. I would have danced all night with her if I could have, if she would have let me. But instead, what I've learned how to do, even as an introvert, instead of me having to go out and go say, do you want to dance? Or do you need a speaker? Hey, I really see some potential. Do you want to coach? Hey, can you work with me? Can you pay me something? Instead, what I do now is, and now they line up asking me to dance. And now I get to say yes or no. That's what you want. That's what you want. Because that's called freedom. Now, this is all it takes. Create the package, the presence, and the presentation. Now, let me show you what else we did with Rich. So then we took this really sexy logo and we said, you gotta have a backstory. But what's the backstory behind everything that you do? Anybody else have a love-hate relationship with social media? Oh, God, I had to post again, I get it. Well, let me show you how to take social and make it work for you. Rich sells multi-million-dollar homes. He has no business posting pictures of his tacos, right? No business posting pictures of what he ate for lunch. But instead, this is what we did. I wrote this for him. I wrote a whole story around his logo so that now he can sing in the language of his listeners. He deals with multimillionaires and billionaires. And so he knows how to sing in their language and talk to them about the things that matter. And so when you learn how to sing in their language, things begin to change. Instead of him having to go out and say, can I sell your home? They say, I don't know who you are, but can you please work with me? Did something else really cool as well with Rich, and I want all of you to take this as a note. I want you to try this for yourself. Rich, as you see, had the wonderful picture. We did something else that was really cool. I said, Rich, give me a couple of your quotes. I want you to tell me something that you normally say to people. Something really simple. He sent me 5 pictures and 5 quotes. Now, this is what I did with my designer for him. He said, say something kind to yourself, remember who you are, and say something powerful. So now the social media that we had this love-hate relationship with, he's now using this social media as his billboard. This social media is no longer about his dog and slippers and his tacos, right? It's now attracting his ideal customer. Say, I don't know who you are, but you just look like a somebody. You just look like a somebody. I want you to see how easy this is so that you can understand how many opportunities are out there. This guy who's worth $2.2 million now, it's not because he's any smarter than you. It's not because he's better looking than you or that they have something that you don't. They just go get the bag by using the tools that are out there. We took some pictures and made things like this. Dream big, believe bigger. Quick story, Rich goes back to the country club where these very successful people are. Just after a first couple posts, people talk to him in the hall and say, Rich, what are you doing? What do you mean? Like, did you hire some kind of expensive social media company or something like that? Or did you get some kind of big contract? Or why are you celebrating? They said, no, I'm just now teaching some more of what I'm about, putting more of me out there. What are we saying? He turned the volume up. He said, all of a sudden people started liking his stuff and sharing his stuff that had never liked or shared ever before. People started talking about him. People started believing things about him that they didn't used to believe before. So amazing things began to happen when you just take what you have and turn the volume up. And now look at this, final point on this. I took 2 Instagram stories, or 2 Instagram accounts, Tom Bilyeu and Ed Milet. Both of these people are very, very successful. Both of them have 1 to 2 million followers. And so now this was the beginning of his. As you see, his is starting to look like Ed's and starting to look like Tom's. You can do this. Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Of course you can. Absolutely you can. Just take it. See, my mom always said it like this. She said, do what they do, get what they have. Do what they do, get what they have. I can show you how to do all these things. Of course, I don't have time to go into it and break it all the way down, but this is exactly what I do. It's very simple, and I train on this all the time. I'm going to give you another case study about a guy named Joe Werbick. And you're going to be able to, yeah, you know Joe very well. Joe is someone who is a financial advisor. He works in the financial services industry. Joe is everything you'd expect out of a financial advisor. Really, really good at what he does. He was already very solid, but he said to me, John, I need you to help with the package and the whole presence and the persona. I'm not there yet. And I believe that would help me to get to the bag. I said, cool, well, let's see what you've got. With Joe, we did something really interesting. Joe, the thing I want you to pick up on this is Joe used the media. How many of you have ever been in the media before? I don't just mean television. I mean, have you ever done an interview for a podcast? There we go. Yes. See, this is what I mean. You have stuff you don't even realize. If you've even done a podcast interview, you're now a media personality.
Everyone.
If you have a podcast, even if only 2 people listen to it, you are now a media personality. So what is that? That is your packaging that's changing. So Joe said, I need to up my game. I need to increase my package and my presence. I said, okay, well, Joe, here's what we're going to do. Watch this. We're going to get you on television because that's what's going to elevate you above all of the others. Because the last thing that you want to be known as is what? Another. What are all the other financial advisors doing? They're doing the lunch and learn, right? You bring them in and then you close them. So we already know what that means. But instead, what I did was I said, Joe, you're just going to be on TV and they're going to watch you, and then they come across the dance floor and ask you to dance with them if you have space. And so we just repositioned him a bit. I told you, wherever I eat lunch, you eat dinner. And so I said, all right, Joe, this is what I did. And so we're going to do the same thing. If you look at the bottom of the screen, Joe did something really, really smart. Joe has a big stack of money, right? So what did the producers say? This is good. This is great TV. Nobody else has done this. Nobody else thinks like this. This is fantastic. I don't even know how much money it was. I know it's a lot. And I know that makes must-see TV. I know that Joe, the next time he was on, we did 3, that's not marijuana, guys. We did 3 big buckets. So when you retire at 62, you retire or you pull your money out when you're 62, pull your money out when you're 66, when you're 70, right? So he uses manipulatives. He uses great examples. So now he is one of one. All he did was just take what he already does and turn the volume up. What I want you to see, Chris, is that it's in you. It's in you. Deidre, you're already doing it. You just need help turning the volume. When I tell you that the same song can be double platinum if they just turn the volume up, yeah, it might need a little bit of mixing and fading and editing. The same thing, he's just teaching about the stuff he would teach about at his lunch and learn. But now he's the expert. Now he's the one who people come to. And now look at what happened. He's one of the fastest growing companies. He got Business of the Year 5-year award winner for his area for favorite financial advisor. All because he used the media. That is one of those doors that you need to start thinking about, whether it's a podcast, getting on podcasts, whether it's actual media like me. I'm on Fox 26 here in Houston very often. Joe said, I tripled my revenue since I started working with Jonathan. Tripled. He was already very successful. Let me put it this way. I don't even know where he is now, but I guarantee you he's on vacation somewhere. Because that's just what he does. I don't know whether he works more or vacations more, but that's just what he does. Because he's now able to be in that place. That's that F word we talked about called what? Freedom. Just turn the volume up. Are you at least thinking a little bit differently yet, y'all?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Are you seeing that there's something more for you?
Absolutely.
Do you believe now?
Yes.
Do you believe that it's possible? That's all I'm asking. Chris, do you believe that it's possible? I'm not asking, do you know everything that you need to know? Are you ready to go out and do it all right? But do you just believe that it's possible?
Absolutely.
All I'm doing is just following the same model that I use. Whatever I do, I lay out the same pattern. Right here on Fox 26, the studio's right over here on 59. And I write all of my own stuff. And so now whenever I want to be on TV, I'm on TV. And I can do the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, I have a whole setup of media pitches and everything that work. I took the ones that work, I got rid of the ones that didn't, and I made a collection of them. How many of you think you could benefit from something like that? How many of you like something like that? You don't want to do? Okay, all right, okay. Let me give you a final case study. Her name is Karen Quick. The first case study was about you understanding how you could leverage the power of the internet platform. The second was the power of the media platform. This one is simply about utilizing the spoken word platform. Karen quick story on her. Karen and I worked together at Dell. Karen was a colleague who watched me quit Dell. She said, Jonathan, we should quit and go pursue our respective dreams. I quit, she watched. 20 years later, she came back and said, I should have quit. I wished I had the guts to quit like you did when you did. But she didn't. And so she hired me to help her. And I said, Karen, I think we got it. This is going to be easy. I've been waiting to work with you. Karen is a wonderful human being. And I said, Karen, well, tell me, who are the people who you really want to help? Who do you really want to serve? And what difference do you want to make in the world? She said, you know what? I really have a problem with the fact that a lot of times women don't get the promotions that they deserve. I'm really frustrated by the fact that women don't advance in corporate spaces as much as they should. But here's the thing. A lot of times, it's their own fault. I said, oh, that's interesting. She said, you know why? Because women tend to stay really small. We tend to play nice and do what we're told, and we tend to not make ruffles in the feathers like some of the boys do. And we are more interested in protecting our space and keeping our jobs than we are about pursuing the next. I said, oh, that's really interesting. So tell me more about this. Tell me more about, like, what would you teach a group of women? Let's say there's a group of 100 women who you have all weekend long. Tell me about the things you would teach. And so she told me about 6 different things that she would teach them. The first one was called Cubenomics. How do you get out of your cube and go out and do more things? Right? So we created 6 different C's, and we called them the Quick 6. That's called packaging, y'all. See, some of your packages are right in your own name. Some of you have your package that has been given to you all along. You just never knew it. So Karen said, Karen, quick, how about we teach some quick strategies that will teach women how to get the respect and the compensation that they deserve. So this whole Quick 6 thing, it happened really fast. It happened really fast for her. She said, I teach talented women how to get unstuck and get the promotion and payment they deserve. So when she tells people what she does, she's really clear. She teaches who? Women. How to what? Get the promotion and the payment that they deserve. And so that was that visceral reaction that you wanted to create. You said that those people get more money than some of us, not because they're better, but because they're better at getting people to react to them. So when you get talented women like Thesha who say, sounds like me. What does someone like Thesha say? Sign me up. I don't even know what you charge, but I guarantee you, you are my person. That's the one I've been looking for. How many people are saying that to you when you tell them what you do? How many people are currently saying this to you? What I'm saying to you is that they will, Mike. They will, if you just learn what to say, if you just learn how to turn the volume up. Jill, it will happen for you. And so we created this book, Cubenomics, which was not just one, but it was a series. Somebody add that to your notes, please. Don't just write a book series. Don't just write a book series. I want you to see yourself in this. So we just took the same thing. How smart women get beyond their cube, build strategic relationships, and boost their brand. This is all stuff I wrote. I remember I was by the Texas Medical Center when I wrote this. I don't know. Houston makes me good at this somehow. I don't know. Just being around in different places. We were just talking, and this all came to me, and it worked out really, really well. And so when you think about the right brand, this is what I want you to add to your notes. Your ideal brand should be not only a speech topic, it should be your best-selling book, and it should be your coaching program title. Robin does one thing. She teaches Cubenomics. She teaches whatever her thing is. And so when everybody comes to you, they should know what you do and they can refer you as what you do. So for example, I teach one thing. I teach the connection code. I'll teach it to realtors. I'll teach it to speakers. I'll teach it to teachers. It's going to be different in the contents. I'm going to have different points that I emphasize. But I teach the connection code. Why? Because I'm the connection coach. Why? Because the thing I do is connection. And when you hear me talk, I'm always going to say that connection is key. Deidre, I just turned the volume up. I'm not that much better than anybody. I probably am not even as good as some of you. I'm just really clear about what I do. Quick result. Karen texted me one day and said, praise report. That's how black people talk. Praise report. I've gotten 5 potential clients contacting me to hear more about the Quick 6 from one video. Just one. One video she sent out. She's got 5 new clients already. Yeah, it's happening for people all the time. Whether it's happening in your business or not is your choice, but it's happening for people all the time. Bart Christian, same scenario. Found something for him. Very simple. We found the right message. He sent out his email at 7 and is now pushing 20 requests for webinars. Same thing. Final thing I want you to remember about who you are. I want you to know that you are hope. For somebody out there, you are their hope. Elena, would you treat yourself a little differently? Would you get past your belief if you realized that you were somebody's hope?
That's my mantra.
Would you be a little bit more urgent and incessant about getting the bag if you realized that you were someone's hope? I want you to remember that you're a bridge builder. Mike, you're helping people go from where they are to where they want to be. You're helping people go from stuck to unstuck. You're helping people go from a life of probability to a life of possibility. I know that you're brand new in this. You help somebody every single time you talk.
Yes, sir.
Every single time you talk.
Yes, sir.
You help them cross that bridge where there was only a chasm, where there was only a gap. You built a bridge. So don't hide your magic. Don't hide your magic. That thing in you, all you got to do is just turn the volume up. I've given you story after story to show you just how possible it is, just how doable it is. Not later in the future, I'm talking about right now. Because add this last note, somebody needs what I have been hanging on to. Somebody needs what I have been hanging on to. I'm very blessed to call Houston my home. I'm very blessed to be here today. As you can tell, there's a little something going on inside, but I push through it because you all are so important to me. It doesn't matter.
I love you too.
Brother, you all are the hope givers for this city. In this time, we need more people like you. And so it's exciting for me to be able to be here. And yeah, I work with some people who some of you might have known. That's nice for these kinds of things. But what really excites me is when I see you go from where you are to where you deserve to be. Start getting treated the way that you deserve. Start getting paid the way that you deserve. And all of a sudden, things begin to change. And so in asking, in preparing for this, they asked me, said, some people want to say, hey, we need to keep going. We need to make sure that we get whatever change that you need out of your life, because you know that no matter how effective a talk might be, you know that, I still need to learn a little bit more. And so what I did was I put together something for you guys. This is not for everybody. Trust me, it is not for everybody, but I have made it accessible to everyone in the group. So I have a course that I put together on those 3 doors. Those 3 things I said that you really need to show you exactly how to do this. Now, it would not be time efficient for me to have to stand here and talk to you and have you come from your homes and all that. So what we did was we made it all very digital. That means you can rewind, you can watch over and over again. So the first one is about how do you walk through that door in the media? How do you walk through that bridge? I break everything down about what topics producers are looking for right now. How many of you would like to know that? If you would, say, uh-huh. How to take your topic, whatever you teach on, whatever you're talking on right now, and make it hot for the media to use immediately. If that's something that you're thinking about, say, uh-huh. Also, my actual pitch templates that have gotten me booked on TV spots and radio and blog requests and podcasts. If that would be of value to you, if you want to just use the cut. By the way, if you want to just leave my name in there, you could do that too. If that would be of value to you, say, uh-huh. All right. That by itself would be about $12.50 because of how effective it has been for the people who've used it, as you saw with Joe. The 90-day business accelerator, I'm really excited about. This is about how to market yourself so you can increase your fees. How many of you want to increase your fees? If you do, say, I do.
I do.
Come, the rest of you don't?
I do.
If you want to increase your fees, say, I do. What about the post-engagement strategies that get you rebooked? That's really good. If you want some of those, say, I do. And 3 areas to focus on post-COVID as you are building or rebuilding your speaking business. If that sounds like something you need and that I could help you on, say, I do. I do. Very cool. Well, that by itself is also $12.50, and I've got some other great stuff. How many of you have a Google business page? Not enough. Not enough. And if you're not on page 1 of Google, I can see why you are saying some of the things you said about some of the challenges that you're having. The easy way to get on the front page of Google for free without using SEO or being tech savvy, how to get your audience to help you rank higher in Google, and how to turn one Google search into multiple streams of revenue. I've been using this and it has been awesome. It has been absolutely phenomenal. So I have a little course that I put together on this as well. And it's, guess what? For free. All of that stuff is free. Google is the #1 website in the world. These tools are right there. Within 30 minutes, I can show you how to be up and positioning yourself to get on Google. And it's going to be really amazing because you're going to be ahead of other people. When you type in The Connection Lab, you're going to see me above all the other people who have huge sites, but my company ranks up high with that. And finally, your 6-figure brand. This is the one that all of you will want to have in your hands. This is all about how to find the market that can easily afford what you're worth. If you want that, say I do. Come on, say it loud and proud, say I do. I do. Also, what to say so that you become more referable. If you want more referrals, say I do. I do. And also your 6-figure sentence, meaning when you, kind of like what you saw with Karen Quick. When Karen tells you, I do this for these people, and this is the result that I get for them, and makes people say, I want you in my life. If you want something like that, and if you believe that could be a benefit to your business, say, I do. I do. That by itself would also be $12.50 as well. So here's how it's going to go. Very simple. All you have to do is just go to jsprinkles.com right now. Go to on your phone. Just do this with me right now. Just go to jsprinkles.com/NSA. All of those things together would be about $5,000. Guys, because I said I wanted to make it affordable for everybody, regardless of where you are in your business, I'm giving you all this stuff for literally $500. $497. All of it. Not some. All of it. So that you can make this your year. jsprinkles.com/NSA. This is not an expense, this is an investment that you're making in yourself. If you want it, if it's right for you. If it's not, then that's okay. That's fine. But for those of you who are serious about getting to the bag, I'm showing you how I did everything that I just did. And so I'm here to help. I'm here to be that coach that you've been looking for. I'm here to be that presence. I'm here to help you get that bag. I will say this. We're going to take this down not long after, probably within about 24 hours, because we have some other things that we're doing within the company. And so we're going to take this down. So anyone who wants this, then you just need to make that decision about whether you want to do it pretty quickly. because we won't have it up there forever. But for anyone who says, this is what I want, and this is my time, you're my guy, then I'm definitely here to help. Folks, this is what I want you to know. There's never been another time in the history of this planet for you to be who you are. There's never been a better time in the history of this planet for you to do what you do. There's never been another time in the history of this planet where we need, as a collective, great people like you, people who will step up where others have sat down, people who will speak where others have become silent, people who will do when other people will just talk. This is your time. This is your season. And I'm so excited about what we are going to do as a collective. And pretty soon we will all see why they say that business always tastes better with sprinkles on top. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm sure something really good happens now. Okay, great.
It's really good happens now. Do we have,
I've got a suggestion.
we want to do a quick break?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people
Stand up.
want to take a picture with you too. Can we do 10 minutes? 10 minutes quick break?
Yes.
Y'all don't leave.
By the way, I also, let me just say this. I forgot that I had this. So I met a guy last week, 2 weeks ago. His name is Kyle, and he was Jim Rohn's last promoter. He worked with Jim for quite a few years, and he was the one who created, just out of the love for Jim and all of the great things that Jim had done to help so many people, he created a book called The Treasury of Quotes. He took all of Jim's best stuff and he turned it into a book. Only Kyle has rights to this book. And he gave it to me, and I said, you know what? And how many of you are also Jim Rohn fans? Jim Rohn is the reason why I'm standing here today. I didn't even know that, I had never heard anyone speak like this before. He gave it to me, and something on the inside right before I left said, you know what? If I want to pass this along to some people in my group. And so if anyone took advantage today, if anyone got this, I'm going to give this to you as an extra bonus as well. Whoever, I don't know if there were multiple people, maybe the first person to tell me, I don't know. But whatever that looks like, I want you to have this treasury of quotes. You can't find it anywhere. This comes from the man himself. And so as a way of passing this along to you, passing the torch, passing the blessing on, I want this to be for someone.
Thank you so much. Let's give him another round of applause. Jonathan Sprinkles. Everything tastes better with sprinkles on top. And don't you just love saying the name? I told him it makes me smile every time I say it. It does. All right, thank you. 10 minutes. Robin is going to tell you about that.
Yes, it is my very special privilege to share what everyone has said as a giant thank you to you. This goes on your I love you all.
Oh, wow.
You've got a lot of posted to put on there. But don't, oops, see this one. Sorry about that. Thank you. Don't read it on the way home unless traffic's really bad. But we are just so thrilled, and it's wonderful that you're the person who is here to get us back in person and back connected, and you have brought so much to us, and we hope that this brings much to you. Stand.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, let's give Jonathan another round of applause. I told you he was going to be the connection king, did he not? Now, if you wanted this, you're too late for the book of quotes, but you're still going to be blessed by signing up. I think it's going to be amazing. Did anybody get any nuggets to take away? Yes? Okay, so let's find out for sure. So what we're going to do is let's spend just 15 minutes at your table. We'd like you to discuss what you learned and what is one step you're going to take. So each of you at the table share the one step you're going to take from hearing those motivational words from Jonathan today, all right? Are you asking him to step in?
Asking Mike to join us.
Oh, if he's gonna join you, yes, he is, he is. So we'll take 15 minutes and then we'll debrief your steps. Then we've got a few closing remarks, a little promo for what's happening. Mike is our program chair and he's gonna tell you what's gonna be happening next month. But first, debrief what's one step. You know, we've got lots of great ideas, but what are you going to do with these great ideas, all right? Any questions?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. All right. Then I go someplace else, and then I go someplace else, and I don't ever come back to the content. And I think this was very powerful. Mike feels really strongly, Mike and Jill both, about let's talk about what we learned, because it does us no good to come and have fun with Jonathan, and then we don't do anything with his words of wisdom, right? So do you want to start, my table, do y'all want to start and just quickly tell steps that you're going to do? I know, Jonathan, you'll be so proud of my table. They took notes in their head. I'm going through and looking, and they've got them all.
You're not starting a competition, are you? It sounds like it.
We'll go first because Deidre's going to be our spokesperson for our table.
Okay, all right, hang on.
Sorry. We're going to start singing We Are the Champ.
We are the champ.
So we had an opportunity to really kind of talk about just what we processed over the time. And each of us started thinking about how can we turn up the volume? So we have a message, we have the ability to connect with others, but we're not getting it over the finish line. We're not turning up the volume so that every time people are coming back to us. There have been times where people will say, well, that's our guy or I'm their gal, but how do we consistently make that, make us be the ones that people choose?
Yeah. Definitely the best.
Thank you, Deidre. All right, what about this table? Well, we'll come back to the
best.
The
Say
best.
the best one.
Yeah, you knew I was going to say that. Who wants to speak?
I didn't hear all that.
Okay, here we go, Robin. Oh, yeah. Well, we are the champions. I mean, if you're willing to sing it, right?
That's right.
So this wonderful crew here, we really love the triple whammy with the packaging, the presentation, and the presents, and really understand that when we have that together, it makes it easy. Then we're congruent, and we can go out in the world, and people are saying, "You're my person. I get who you are," and I don't have to explain it to them. And that's what we have. Is that good? Is there anything else? Okay.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
My name is Mike Andrade, and I learned punctuality is important. So showing up for me is my turning it up moment. But what I learned about this table is we have some amazing souls. Turning it up means, one, leaving your job in education and playing full out. Understanding you can always go back to education, but you're starting right now. So Michael, congratulations for that. We've got Honey. What's your name again, sir?
My name is Deepak.
Deepak, yes. Message here was about action. About taking all of this great content that we have in our mind and just taking action and making it happen. So I love, if anybody knows who Ian Garlic is, he has a phrase, it's version done is better than version none. And so that's the action item here, is taking that great content out of their minds and just using that as part of their mission to be heard even more. So, and he's such an accomplished speaker, he might need to take the microphone over himself. But that's what it meant to us.
I do want to say this. No, let me say this. Jonathan was fantastic. I've known Jonathan for 20 years. He came to, back in the day, as North Harris Montgomery Community College District to talk to some kids. He was living in Austin, and he blew them away, and now Lone Star uses it whenever they can. In fact, there's another gig coming up here in about 6 weeks. You'll be called about it. Sincere. Let me just say this. I've gone all over the country. In fact, to hear speakers, learn how to speak. about 10, 15 years ago, I was in Los Angeles to hear the big money speaker, and I went out there. Well, the big money speaker was great. He spoke for about maybe an hour and a half. Then he started bringing in the other people who could speak, and Jonathan was on the stage. And I'm telling you, blew it away. And I say this because Jonathan and I have known each other a long time. He's one of the best at what he does. I do fortunately get to speak because some people know me, but I don't get gigs 2 or 3 times a week. But here's the deal. I have a terrible website, super terrible, all that, but I've been blessed and fortunate. And I had 1 or 2 companies buy a lot of books from me, and I've stayed on the radar. Here's the deal. I signed up for Jonathan's deal right here. I'm going to tell you right now, because he's super real. I've known him a long time. It's my job to make certain I support him. He knows I love him. I'll be sitting at the rodeos coming up, and I always think I have good seats, and next thing I know, down from me, two rows down in the sand, there's Jonathan, man. I go, Jonathan. And he lives right there in the medical center. Back in the day, no telling where he's living now. But the bottom line, I want to say a big thank you to my brother right there. I can't say enough about our leadership in NSA who's kept it alive. To get Jonathan here is unbelievable. I'm telling you right now. So often we think that if we find gold in our backyard, it's really not gold. But if gold is in your backyard, it's gold. Jonathan's real deal. He's gold. I'm glad we're back in person. As you know, I hadn't been doing as many. But being here in person and Jonathan kicking it off, it sets a great tone for where we all need to be moving forward. And I'm going to close with this. He said this, and I'm sitting here. Zig Ziglar used to come to town back in the day, and Zig would tell you, he basically only has 3 speeches. Go listen to him. 3 core speeches, but he has so many stories or case studies of success that even though he has the core, no matter what the subject matter is, he has something that people can connect with. And Jonathan brought that to us. I've heard him before. He's always going to you're going to get up off your seat no matter where you're going. And it's his trademark. I mean, it's him. I've seen some other people try to go and do it and almost turn an ankle and all that. Everybody can't do what somebody else is gifted with doing. So we all got a gift that is totally different. I'm not going to change my accent no matter where I go. They said, man, you're from Canada. No, not Canada, but you're close. But the bottom line is this was fantastic. Mike, thank you. I cannot say enough about our leadership in NSA of keeping it alive. Ed is there, just keeping it alive. And we can't do this unless those who've gone before us and really set the mark. Jill, out there laboring in so many different facets. This is a great organization, folks. I'm telling you right now. And just as Jonathan says, whether there's seats are packed, he's talking to the people who are in the chairs. And when we have our monthly meetings, and now we're coming back, so what X number shows up. I assure you, if you do what is being taught by whomever's speaking, you advance what you're about. Because a whole lot of people will take notes, and those notes might as well be just a plan that never gets opened. But if you just take 1, 2, or 3 things, you're going to be better in what you're moving to be and to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Benny. All right, Andre, do you want to say just, or you want to do a quick summary? We're out of time. You two decide.
It's a tough
Andre.
crowd.
All right.
Are we saying one thing or a few things?
You can say a few things.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm a guest here. My name is Andre. I'm glad to be here.
Don't let Mike scare you, Andre. Already has his own book.
Correct. So for me personally, when I was listening, it wasn't necessarily points that he spoke on that caught my attention. For me, it was actually what he did that I was paying attention to. He started off by getting up off our seats, and for me that's powerful because it's easier to keep a crowd warm when they're hot, but when they're completely cold and you try to warm them up, that's a different task. So keeping the energy hot, he started off by doing call and response, getting the energy high. That made a lot of sense to me. That's the reason why I usually open my speeches with a poem. because it always catches people's attention. Then from there, I also paid attention to humor. Humor is a great connector. You can make somebody laugh, they already feel connected to you, and then you also share your personal story, because being vulnerable is another way to make people connect with you. And she was actually talking about how
She is Javon.
Javon, I'm sorry. Javon, where you going again? What were you saying? Okay. And then Javon was talking about, he was the same thing this table was talking about before, about how it stood out.
The presentation, like turn the volume up.
Exactly, turn the volume up as well. So those are the key points that we had to share.
Thank you guys so much. So,
Powerful to hear what
oh, it's time for us to stop now. Okay. Right on time, perfect. Okay, now, you guys know what character is? You talked about all these cool things that you heard and that you want to implement, right? Character is carrying through with the commitment after the emotion of making it has gone away. We're all pumped up. Jonathan's got us pumped and psyched, and we want to be successful. We want to grow our business. We want to get to the bag. We want to get rid of all those obstacles. And yet, we're going to go home tonight. It's Friday, and we're going to, oh no, we're going to Rustic first. We're going to Rustic, and we're going to talk about it some more. But tomorrow morning when you wake up, will you remember what you committed to? Will you stick with it? And that's the key to character. So I want to challenge y'all. Jill already did. She's asked you to fill out this document, some of your takeaways. So you can start with takeaways today or takeaways from previous meetings. But don't let these words of wisdom from our guru go to waste, okay? Will you promise me that? Yes? Okay. Yay! I'm glad. Now, Mike Lejeune is going to come up and give us a preview of next month. How many are you excited about next month? Yes? Got it on the calendar? Yes? Okay.
They will by Saturday.
By Saturday.
Give Deanna a hand. She did a great job today, kind of keeping things moving, keeping the energy up. How did it feel to actually be able to see people and not have to look at people through a square? I mean, it's like, I love this. I mean, Tamara had to leave it. I've been on the line with her for like 18 months now. First time I ever saw her in person.
Oh, wow.
It was the wildest thing. I need for you to understand something. These are not NSA meetings. These are workshops. They're workshops. In other words, you don't come and sit, I call it being a church pew Christian. You don't come and sit in church and have somebody teach at you, and then you get in your car and you go back up and go back up the next. This is a chance for you to be able to work your brain. And then we created a little bit of environment for you to actually process things so you can narrow things down so you drink out of a fire hose. And now you got about 4 weeks to go and do some things. Well, we're going to come back together in March. And what you just experienced here, that's what the whole meeting is going to be. We're going to have tables that are going to be set up that are topic driven. And we're going to give you a chance to go to like 3 different tables and interact with 3 different people, have somebody leading the discussion. We're going to look at things like marketing. I want to play with we need to find somebody to do humor, because that's such an important aspect of things.
We don't have anybody who has a sense of humor.
No. We'll have to go and recruit somebody for that then. So, and we're going to look at some different tables to discuss, and so we can workshop, because as we've heard, and I love this, Deepak, I got this from you when you shared and when you did your showcase. It had to do with the fact that, gathering information has zero value without action. Zero value. And you need to understand how many people dream of going down the road that you're taking action on by being here. I'm blessed on Sunday afternoon. I'm going to speak to our local Toastmasters group of people who are Toastmasters who want to be professionals. I was in Toastmasters for 10 years. And I remember the people I used to run around saying, we're going to be a professional speaker one day. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm just saying this as fact. I'm the only one who went down that road. And I ran with some I ran with some people that were, they had chops. The fact that you're going down this road as a speaker, teacher, trainer, coach, whatever it is, puts you in rarefied air because you're taking action. So my challenge for you over this next 4 weeks is do something I started in January. It's a new thing. But every day, I ask myself one question. What am I doing to move the ball? Not to get a touchdown, but every day, what am I doing to move the ball? And I will tell you, I have had more fun in the last 7 weeks watching that ball do this. My website that I've been talking about is going to go live now in March in about 2 or 3 weeks. I've got a new product that came in. I ended up with a couple of, the ball moved each and every day. I told Jonathan, for me, I started hearing this thought early in January, but get your voice louder, Mike. And now I got this guru comes in and screams it at me. So I guess I'm supposed to listen and do this. So I asked myself the question: move the ball. That's my challenge for you. You know, I actually have a picture of a cue ball. You know, the number 10 ball on the pool table, and I've got it on my desk specifically to remind me throughout the day: am I moving the ball? Which means that I got to fight past distraction. I got to step in that place that I'm a little bit uncomfortable. Because to move the ball, I got to get a little uncomfortable. So that's our challenge. Next month, we're going to spend time talking and working together, locking arms, so that we can continue going down the road. Because when I first joined Toastmasters, our president at the time said 2 things. He said, go do the work, and then live the dream. And that's what we come together as a family. It gives us a chance to come together and do the work so we can all live this great dream. Because our desire to speak is a lot of times for most of us is not something we want to do, it's something we have to do. It's something that comes that's just part of our core. So we will see you next month. Jill, any closing thing you got, or is that?
I just want to say, go to the website, register for next month, and sign up to be a member.
Yeah.
Don't miss
Come
out.
back as a member. Talk to me.
Absolutely. You're going to get a cool package,
Yeah.
and you're going to really learn a lot.
Yeah, can I also throw another challenge on that? Do me a favor, before you put your head on your pillow tonight, go to your Facebook page and your LinkedIn page and do an update that said, where were you today? Make sure you put the @ sign and Jonathan's name in there, you know, so that we can tag him on it. It helps promote that. And then put @ and then put NSA Houston, you know, and because it'll pop up the NSA Houston chapter, all right? And then, because that's another way of making your voice louder, which makes our voice louder. So we need your help with that thing. So see you next month.